Hey there, this is TJR from Music Worth Buying, and it's time for my Week 3 wrap-up of the iTunes Music Festival. Every day in September, iTunes is hosting a rock concert show at the Roundhouse in London, and you can watch it on iTunes, whether you're using a Mac or PC, and you can also watch it on any Apple device. And if you're like me, you're watching it at home on your Apple TV. And if you're following me on Facebook, at facebook.com/musicworthbuying, you can read my commentary detailed on each and every performance. But for the sake of this video, I'm just going to move on to the performances that I feel are of note, the ones that surprised me, and the ones that I feel you can't miss. So starting with day 13, which would have been Saturday of last week, you have to watch Paolo Nutini. Hopefully I've said that right, Paolnutini. He was discovered by Ahmet Etrigan, and it shows. Right from the first song, I thought to myself, whatever his latest release is, I've got to go out and get it. It was just one of those kind of performances. And also, he just has a certain it factor to his performance, and so does the music. And so definitely, you have to see from day 13, Paolo Nutini. Now, moving up ahead to day 15, a band called The Script, whose music, if I'd heard it on the radio or in passing, I probably wouldn't have been all that interested. But what really knocked me out was their live performance. They really know how to deliver it live. I am a bit reminded of my comments about Maroon 5 from last week. Maroon 5 is a band whose music doesn't appeal to me that much, but I was really knocked out by their live performance. I felt the same way about this band, so you might want to check them out as well. Moving ahead to the next day, day 14, Chrissie Hynde. Of course, are the Pretenders. Great performance, can still really deliver it. Her band seemed to be having a little more trouble than her. I think this might have been the fact that she was teamed up with Blondie, and it was kind of an 80s night, and she was pulling out a lot more of her hits with the Pretenders than maybe she normally does, because the band was much tighter on her newer material. And by the way, if you want to know what I think of her new album versus how it was performed live, you might want to check out my commentary on Facebook for that. I'm not going to get into it here. So moving ahead here, I want to go to day 17. Eric Whitacre and Gregory Porter. I want to recommend that you watch both these performances. Eric Whitacre is a modern classical composer, and I think it was great that the iTunes included at least one classical performance. Eric Whitacre, for the entire performance, had a choir, but in order to connect more with the modern audiences, he had some guest stars. He had a young singer-songwriter, and I hope I get his name right here, Marius Beck, who on acoustic guitar joined the choir for a rendition of Wrecking Ball, yes, that version of Wrecking Ball, and also a rendition of A Man of Constant Sorrow. Also among special guests was composer Hans Zimmer, who joined with the choir on piano, and a particular high note was just the choir doing an a cappella rendition of Hurt by Trent Reznor, which the song, of course, made famous by Johnny Cash. I recommend this performance if you want to see something completely different, even if you're not into this kind of music. Gregory Porter, I will recommend. Gregory Porter, the same night, was a soulful jazz singer. And I'm recommending this just because the music performances were just so absolutely outstanding. And whether you're into this kind of music or not, I recommend that you just watch Gregory Porter just for some amazing musical performances, and no other reason than that. And you might actually like the music a whole lot too, who knows. So let's move ahead here to day 18. There was a band called Little Dragon. Little Dragon is billed as an electro-pop band. But what I found really cool about this group was how organic everything was. The drums were played by a real drummer on real acoustic drums. What sound like they would be synth loops when you hear their recordings is actually a real musician at a keyboard playing these by hand in real time. They sound like synth loops, but he's playing them by hand. Very cool. And the music's very kind of trippy, hippie sounding. I need a few more listen throughs to see how I really feel about the songs, but I was certainly intrigued by their performance, and you probably might be too, so I would recommend you might give that one a listen. So once again, to sum up, I really want to recommend that you check out Paolo Nutini, and I think if I had to recommend any other day, I would recommend that you also check out day 17 with Eric Whitacre and Gregory Porter. And if there were just 2 days that I just absolutely said you cannot miss, those would be the two I would say. But hopefully you check out some of these recommendations and give me your thoughts. What do you think about what I think of these performances? And give me your reactions to my more in-depth commentary on Facebook. And thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And we'll see you next week. Bye.